Okay, this is getting crazy, and I have to address this because what else can I do? Alright, let's talk about the problem at hand. Okay? Obviously, you guys have probably heard about the Piper Raquel documentary, or probably watched it by now, and or you've seen the stuff that's going on with the Bop House, and this brings me to a much bigger problem. So, today we're going to talk about children on social media. We're just going to jump straight into it. So, when I was in fifth grade, around 2016, the culture of social media influencers was at its peak. Apps like Snapchat, Instagram, and Musical.ly were gaining new users rapidly. Among these users was my 10-year-old self. Around the ages 10, 11, and 12, my peers and I were receiving our first phones, and suddenly, this amazing world of social media was at our fingertips. I have always loved YouTube. I could spend hours watching My Life as Ava with back to school crafts or 7 Supergirls perform very funny skits. The best part about these YouTubers was that they were sharing their lives and they got paid for doing the things they loved. Naturally, I wanted to emulate this. So, I decided to clean my room and I got my mom to hold the camera and I recorded my first video. Thankfully, in my short-lived YouTube career, I was fortunate enough not to ever go through a bad internet experience, but for so many kids who decided to pick up the camera, that wasn't their experience. They faced exposure to online predators and exploitation from trusted adults. This is why it's best to stop platforms from paying underage influencers. While it is hard to regulate what individual parents allow or don't allow, we can regulate social media platforms. Social media platforms should stop allowing the monetization of channels made by children or of children to discourage their online presence. And I want to stop here and give a trigger warning because I will be talking about some very serious topics such as sexual assault and things of that nature. So if this is triggering in any way or uncomfortable, I recommend clicking off now. Let's get into it. 7 Supergirls was one of the main reasons I wanted to make YouTube videos. It was a channel of 7 girls around the ages 10 to 15 making videos. Each girl was posting a video on separate days of the week. Even today, the idea is genius and ahead of its time. It's absolutely revolutionary. The videos were funny, relatable, and it didn't stop there. 7 Supergirls was only one of the SAC channels. These channels consisted of 7 Awesome Kids, 7 Perfect Angels, 7 Gymnastic Girls, 7 Fantastic Girls, 7 Epic Dancers, 7 Fabulous Teens, 7 Cool Tweens, etc. You get the point. These channels were widely popular, even allowing tweens to travel and have fan meetups. Years later, out of curiosity, I returned back to check on the state of the channel, or of the channels. What I found was that the creator had been arrested and the channel shut down. Ian Rylett created the first SAC channel, 7 Awesome Kids, in 2008. 10 years later, he would be arrested on 1 count of lewd, lascivious molestation and 2 counts of child abuse, to which he would plead guilty, according to the Florida Orange County Clerk records. To many viewers, this channel was a safe haven. Who could have known the disgusting intent of the man who made it? This man had access to these young girls through phone calls, Skype, and in-person meetings. So why did it take 10 years to catch a predator hiding in plain sight? The difficulty in regulating child predators online is a significant concern. The psychology of child predators reveal that they often seek environments where they can easily manipulate and exploit children. Social media platforms provide such an environment, making it dangerous for children to be exposed. The case of 7 Supergirls highlights the potential for exploitation and the need for stricter regulations to protect children from such dangers. By stopping the monetization of channels by children, we can reduce their online presence and consequently their exposure to online predators. Similar to the SAC channels, Piper Raquel is a well-known social media influencer who began her online career at a very young age. Managed by her mother, Tiffany Raquel Smith, Piper's content includes a variety of vlogs, challenges, and lifestyle videos that appeal to young audiences. However, behind the scenes, the situation was far from ideal. In 2022, Tiffany Raquel Smith faced a lawsuit filed by 11 tween content creators who alleged that she had emotionally, physically, and sexually abused them while they were a part of Piper's YouTube channel. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois accused Tiffany of litany and egregious actions, including sexual battery, civil conspiracy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The teens who had filed this lawsuit were part of a group that created content together. They were referred to as the Squad, and essentially the supporting cast to Piper's channel. Tiffany initiated the inception of this group. Tiffany, along with her editor, Hunter Hill, controlled and orchestrated all of the children's social media accounts, with consent from their parents. Because of this, they received a cut in profits from their accounts. This set up a new power structure where Tiffany was no longer just mom. She was also your boss. Unfortunately, Tiffany misconstrued this power as granting her autonomy over the children's bodies. To many, this lawsuit didn't come as a surprise. Audiences saw a foreshadowing of her odd behavior from the videos. YouTube video thumbnails were often sexually suggestive and edited to make the children look older for clicks. They would hear Tiffany repeat the phrase, "sex sells." Regardless, Tiffany is just the tip of the iceberg. When it comes to malicious momagers, Ruby Frankie, a prominent figure in the world of family vlogging, faced similar issues. Frankie, known for her YouTube channel 8 Passengers, was arrested in 2023 on multiple counts of felony child abuse. Her content often featured her 6 children and provided a glimpse into their daily lives. However, the reality behind the camera was disturbing. Frankie's son was found emaciated with open wounds leading to her conviction. On December 18, 2023, she pled guilty to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. This case underscores the dangers of sharenting, a term used to describe parents who share excessive content about their children online. The phenomenon of sharenting raises significant concerns about children's privacy and safety. As Cody McKinley wrote in the Golden State University Law Review, nearly 40% of mothers aged 18 to 34 create social media content for their babies before their first birthdays, and even post ultrasounds before their birth. This early exposure can have long-term negative effects on children's mental health and well-being. In Ruby's case, her Mormon faith contributed to her aspirations of being seen as a perfect mom online. However, this pursuit led to the use of extreme punishments. Driven by the desire to excel online and achieve specific financial goals, she pushed her children toward an unattainable standard of perfection. Both Piper Raquel and Ruby Frank's cases illustrate the potential of exploitation and abuse when children are thrust into the spotlight by their parents. The problem isn't often the children themselves, but what they are exposed to and the lack of regulation surrounding their online presence. Current child labor laws for child performers, such as the Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, and the Colgan Law, provide some protections for minors in traditional entertainment industries. The I'm gonna have a hard time with that. The FLSA, enacted in 1938, ensures that young people work in safe conditions that do not jeopardize their health, well-being, and educational opportunities. Child influencers are likely exempt from the Act's scope, as social media remains a relatively new domain and influencing as a profession is still emerging. These regulations do not explicitly address them. The Colgan Law, named after child actor Jackie Cogan, mandates that a portion of the child actor's earnings be set aside in a trust. This law was designed to protect child actors from financial exploitation by their parents. However, it does not extend to child influencers, leaving a significant gap in protection. The Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, is another regulation aimed at protecting children online. COPPA restricts the collection of personal information from children under 13 by websites and online services. However, the current standard of COPPA does not account for how family members disclose information about their children online. This loophole allows for parents to share extensive details about their children without any regulatory oversight, exposing them to potential risk. Despite these existing laws, there is a lack of regulation specifically addressing the unique challenges posed by social media platforms. For instance, although Facebook's terms of services prohibit registered sex offenders from signing up, a registered sex offender can create an account using an alias. This highlights the inadequacies of current regulations in protecting children from online predators. The ease with which predators can access children online is alarming. Given the limitations of current child labor laws and the lack of specific regulations for social media, it is clear that there needs to be more done to protect child influencers. One of the counter-arguments to stop monetization of child influencers is that through influencing, these children often become the primary source of income for their families. However, the cons of allowing children to be monetized on social media greatly outweigh the benefits. The pressure to provide for a family is something a child should never experience. Moreover, the right to parental autonomy is constitutionally well established. A parent's right to raise their children as they see fit is protected by the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. The best course of action is to stop the monetization of these channels. We can remove the financial incentive for adults to exploit children online. Money is a powerful motivator, and taking away that motivator can significantly reduce the prevalence of child exploitation on social media platforms. Anyways, that was a long-winded video, but I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a more serious topic. But hopefully this can help you guys maybe change the way you look at things and change the way you look at the content you're engaging in a new light. And hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye-bye.